There's a crazy connection between two of America's very first serial killers, witchcraft, and the state of Mississippi. And the story centers around a place called the Witch's Dance. In the late 1700s, Mississippi was a violent and dangerous place, especially for travelers along the Natchez Trace. And a lot of that was due to two brothers, Big Harpe and Little Harpe. And the two brothers weren't just violent and cruel, they were exceptionally violent and cruel, which is why many consider them to be the very first recorded instance of serial killers in America. Many believe that the two must have been criminally insane because anything could set them off. In one case, they took out a guy because he snored too loudly, and women and children weren't safe from them either. If you can imagine the crime, the Harpe brothers were probably guilty of it, and Mississippi lived in fear of them. And here's where witchcraft comes into it. Just off the Natchez Trace, just a little south of Tupelo, is a spot in the woods called the Witch's Dance, and it's a place that you can still find and visit today. It was believed to be a location where witches would hold their ceremonies, and legend held that wherever their feet touched the ground during their dances, the ground would turn black and nothing would grow there again. The legend was believed so strongly that even Andrew Jackson wrote about it in his journal when he traveled through Mississippi. And whether you believed in the legends or not, it was clear that this was a place that needed to be respected. But the Harpe brothers respected nothing but violence. One day, a guide from a local tribe took Big Harpe to go see the Witch's Dance, and he reacted just like you'd think he would. He leapt from black circle to black circle, shouting and screaming and swearing at the witches to come out and fight him. Naturally, nobody appeared, but many believe this was the moment that ultimately cursed the older Harpe. You see, the Harpes had managed to avoid capture for years, but shortly after this incident, a posse finally caught up with Big Harpe while he was traveling through Kentucky. And it wasn't just any posse, because one of the members just happened to be the husband of a woman that had died at the hands of Big Harpe. Not only that, but this member was given the job of executioner, and he made it last as long as he could. The method chosen was like that, except he didn't do it in one big blow. They made it last as long as possible, and during the process he stayed alive, conscious, and speaking. It's also said that during this time he confessed to at least 20 of his victims. Afterwards, his upper remains were displayed on the trail as a warning. Now, some legends say that that was eventually brought back to the Witch's Dance and buried. Others say that a local witch took it down, ground it up, and used it as a potion for a sick relative. During their savage reign of terror, the Harpe brothers took more than 50 lives. But I personally like to think that it was a power much greater than both of them combined that eventually brought them down.